Hi everybody, welcome to today's episode. Today we have a very special guest, Neethika. She is a life coach, yoga, and meditation trainer, and you're very beautiful, ma'am. Thank you for coming and joining us today. She is a girl from Ooty, a small village from Ooty, and she was raised by a single mother. So, in today's podcast, we are going to have a blend of her personal story along with how she is training others in order to bring purpose to their lives. So, welcome to today's episode.
Hi Aditi, thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to see my college juniors doing such a thing. And it's been a long time since I connected with someone from college, so it's really nice to connect with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, to start off with, ma'am, so before going on to how you started your life coach career, how was it growing up in a village was like for you, ma'am?
I would say like a lot of people are not aware of Ooty and how the villages are there. It's a really different place actually. It's like if you consider a place like Coimbatore or any other place, a district from Tamil Nadu versus Ooty, it's a very different, the culture, the community, everything is very different. And growing up in the hills is an experience in itself. I moved out of my hometown when I was 15. So for school I moved, and then for college I moved. Until 15 I was there. I was raised there. And when you're there, that's all the world you see. Like when you grow up in a village, your village is the world that you see, right? So my village was like the whole world that I saw growing up. But once I came to city, and then I saw the city life as well, and then I get to reflect with my village life, that life was so different. And I should say my family and the environment that I grew up in, like growing up in the hills, in Ooty specifically, that's the main reason for all the values that I have today, right? And you don't get to understand that until you are in village.
I think I can relate myself with you, ma'am, because even I am from a village. Even until I moved out to Chennai, my wall was from the village. I'm from Chamarajanagar. I'm basically from Karnataka. There's a village called Tereknami. That's where I grew up. So when I saw your profile, I was completely able to relate myself with that, because I know being a girl coming out from a village is not that easy. That too, when you move to a major city like Chennai, it's really very hard. Seeing all the people, the lifestyle, it's like we'll feel like, okay, we are not visible, or we underestimate ourselves. But when we start exploring, I think because we are from a village, we are able to explore ourselves much more.
Yeah, true. So there's a transition phase which is difficult, but I think in the transition phase we get to feel like maybe I'm not enough, maybe like I don't know a lot of things. It happened with me when I came to Chennai, and I would see everyone, and everyone is like, they're like, it seems like they're very well informed about things, and they talk about these stuff that you have not even heard about, and you can't even be in the conversation because you don't know what's happening. So there was a period where we feel like we are not belonging here, or that we're not enough. But I think that phase is really important, and then you also get a little bit of characteristics from city and from the people you meet. And then when you get to reflect on both the things, you see that the values that you gained from the village is helping you to survive in the city.
It's shaping ourselves because we are from that background.
Yeah, it's really true. And I think there will be a small identity crisis in between, but later you get to realize that both are needed. Your values that you grew up with, that is also needed. The city, the street smart thing is also needed. So that's the same experience for me. But right now I am really grateful for all the lessons that I had growing up from the village. It's again, just to highlight on the fact that growing up in Ooty is very difficult. Growing up in Ooty is very different from growing up in other cities. It's good. It's nice. The community that's there. It gives you values like respecting other people, being kind to each other, and even today in villages, I don't know if that's still happening in other villages. Even today in Ooty, if someone is, let's say, pregnant, if you're pregnant, you can't really cook, right? So, I mean, even if you have your family members, what the village people will do is, it's like, if it's like 7 months or something, after 7 months, everyone will start cooking for them. So they'll just cook and they'll go, okay, today I'm going to cook, tomorrow this person is going to cook. So if there's 100 family in the village, each and every person will cook and they'll go, because they can't cook. And they do the same process after delivery as well, because after delivery again the person can't cook, right? So they'll cook and they'll take it to their house so that they don't have to cook, because taking care of a newborn is very difficult. So they'll cook for them, and all the whoever is free in the village, like the grandmothers, the aunties, they'll just go to their home, and just as an act of care, they go to their home and they'll take care of the kid while the mother can sleep. So like similarly, there are so many other things, like very value based things that are there, that happens in village. So that has cultivated a lot of value in me, respecting others, being able to be a bit more resilient. So a lot of values. So I should say it's village life has also shaped me, and city life has also shaped me, and both are important.
So, as said, ma'am, you are raised by a single mother. I think that is why you're so resilient, both emotionally and mentally. So, how do you say that? How did that help you shape? I think it's obviously difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult, but it's specifically my mom. My strength and my resilience comes from my mom, and I don't know where my mom gets it from. Like, maybe they just have to build it.
Magic of mothers.
Yeah, the magic of motherhood, especially without a male figure. And my mom got married when she was 21, okay, and she had me and my brother, and she got separated when she was 26. I'm 26 now, so I am not even able to deal with the adult stuff that's happening. I'm single, I'm not in a relationship, I'm not married, I'm just doing my work, and even that is so difficult. So when I think about my mom being separated by 26 with 2 kids, that's, I can't even comprehend how that could be, right? So, but definitely my strength and my emotional stability comes from my mom. And I would say I'm not like still as strong as her, but I'm learning from her. So anytime there's a problem, I'll just think what my mom would do in this situation, and I would try to do that. And my mom again is the most emotionally healthy person you'd meet. When I today I talk because of my work. I do talk to a lot of people. They share their problems with me. They talk about the parents and stuff, and I see that literally a lot of women that I talk to have a very difficult relationship with their mothers, and for some reason, especially if you're the elder daughter, then there's a lot of problems with their mothers, right? And it was when I listen to it, it's like so different for me from my experience, because my mom has never been like that. She's so healthy in terms of like emotionally, so that growing up I was always raised in a really like healthy way. So, and she would also teach a lot of things. If something is not good for you, you have to just leave it. If there is a problem, then you'll have to face it, stuff like that. So I would say majority of it comes from my mom. And again, not having a male figure is another part where you get to be more independent, right? I think there's one thing that's missing when you don't have a male figure, is that if you have a male figure with you, they teach you very little things. Like even if you don't ask for it, they teach you. So if your dad or someone is just right here, they'll just start telling you stuff about the camera, the mic, and the light, like how this thing works and all of that, and they'll be very curious about little things. But moms are not like that. So for me, I always had to be the kid who had to figure it out. So if something, I don't know something, or if something is like difficult for me, I'll have to sit and figure it out. So that is another quality that I developed growing up. It is helping me today, because whatever I want to do, I'll just do it myself. I don't expect anybody, so I'll just do a little bit of research and do it myself. How's that experience for you?
I'm very emotionally connected to my mom. I have both of them, but I think I personally am so attached to my mom, and she supports me in all the ways. I don't think no other mother in my mom's place would encourage a girl in city to do whatever I want. But I make sure I inform them whatever I do. But the background and the she believes in me more than anybody does. She's like, okay, you could do this, whatever happens. Let's face it out. You're trying something new, and she's a very practical person. So she helps me in everything. She tells, yeah, you do it. You the success comes step by step, and you can't reach because I go depressed when I don't get the success that I aimed. She'll be like, this is life, this is how it works. And I just love my mother. I don't have any difficult thing. Like, I see but many members talking about their mom, but I think I feel very different. How can, it's mother, right? Whatever she sells is for our good. But she's a very practical and cool person. I can never compromise. That motherhood is something that I admire the most in life. So once again, so let's go straight into this car. Like, what do you think, like, mental and emotional resilience for you it is? Like, when somebody comes and asks they are stuck with this, how do you handle them?
About how I approach the coaching that I do?
Yeah.
Okay. So usually, a majority of our coping mechanisms or, dealing with problem solving comes from our parents. Mostly I would say comes from parents, and the way we were taught growing up, and a part of it also comes from our influence, surroundings, and all of that, right? So let's say, like, for example, let's say you want to start this podcast, and the first thing that you would do probably is to maybe look for a studio or take a list of people and then approach them. Let's say you approach like 3 people and then they all 3 says no, right? I was taught to never give up. Maybe you were also taught to never give up, but someone else will be like, if they saw something growing up where you try it once, it doesn't work out, and then they give up. That is one. Like, what we see growing up matters. At the same time, what the parents teach us also matters. Like, if your parents had told your mom, you said your mom has been very supportive. My mom has also been very supportive. But if they come from a family where the mom is like, why are you trying random things in the house? I don't want this to be happening here. It's not coming. Why are you trying? Like, there are literally people, moms and dads who say, like, the kid is trying something. Like, it's not coming. Why are you trying? They don't encourage that thing. So majority of it comes from how you deal with it. So when someone comes to me, I'll have to first, understand how they are dealing with their situation right now and who thought that. Okay. And sometimes you'll be like, they'll just be stuck. Like, they are like, okay, this is not happening, so I'm not going to do it. That's the go-to thing that they take. And this happens with a lot of other personal situations as well. Now, like, say career-wise, it's like trying, being consistent. But when it comes to personal life, again, it's very difficult because some people are taught to go behind things that are not good for them. They are taught to put up with things that are not good for them, stuff like that. So I'll have to first understand where this is coming from, what has shaped them to be who they are, what is a thought pattern. So usually there's a thought pattern and then the behavior pattern. So what is that pattern, we'll have to identify and then give them a different suggestion. And that is usually it's like I usually tell my clients that this is not a mental process, it's a spiritual process. It's like a spiritual breakthrough, spiritual awakening for you. So anytime you become aware of something that you're not aware of until now, it's a spiritual awakening. So that's how I approach it. That's why if you see my videos also, I do a mix of spirituality and psychology, both. So that is how I approach coaching.
Like, if some person wants to be productive 24/7, how do you think they should be mentally strong to face that, and they can be consistently focused while working as well? Because if we have a frustration point where after a certain point when we don't get the result, but we still keep on working with the hope, which comes, like, hope is something spiritually we can link, because that's what we push ourselves. Okay, we'll reach there, hope. How do you think the mental wellness of that person, when being productive, how it is being linked? Or
So, someone who wants to be productive 24/7, do a lot of things. I think you are someone like that. I can see that, okay? I can see that. So, see, I can get you because I've been there. I've been that person who's like, I want my full day to be fully packed and I don't want to miss anything. I want to do everything, and if I'm not getting the result for it, and I'm going to be like really upset about it. But I think you will also learn with time. I've also learned that with time. Being productive 24/7 is different from doing valuable work. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is that resting is also a part of being productive. So taking time for yourself and just being in the boredom or just doing very menial things like maybe cooking or cleaning, washing your clothes, listening to some songs, watching a movie, those are also part of your productive journey. Okay. And the third point that you said, so firstly, when someone comes to me like this, or if this is a problem, I first ask them not to be so hard on doing every single thing in the day. Being busy, being productive is different from doing that quality work. So first, I'll ask them to remove the things that are not important for them. Like, there could be things that you're just adding in just because you want to be productive. Remove that, it's not important. And I would ask them to add some rest, rejuvenation time for themselves, something out of the box, right? So if let's say you are trying to do something and everything that you do is maybe related to this field, maybe this work, your biomedical field, mental clarity and all of that, while you're fully focused on that, when your focus is fully narrow, you can't see a lot of other like open-ended ideas. So you should always have something different, something new as part of your routine. So it should be a part of your routine, like that's something that you should do regularly, like maybe going to a new cafe and exploring, signing up for a workshop, reading a completely different book, like, or watching a completely different video that's not at all related to your field. Like maybe you are talking about mental clarity, right? You can just go and watch a video on how huge ships are made, so something like that. So there has to be a lot of there has to be a mix of routine and spontaneity as well, and you need to be open to a lot of other things. Well, that is going on one side. On the other side, when you're focusing on the results, right, this is something that I read in a book that the author would have put, like when you're working for something, both your eyes should be on the work. If one eye is on the goalpost all the time, you only have one eye to focus here. So when you're constantly worried about the result, you're spending a lot of energy on the result. So whatever energy is left, you're putting it on your work. So you should not be focusing on the result at all. You should be focusing fully on the work, because the work that you're doing is the result, right? So that's why I ask them to remove unnecessary work from their life, from their routine. So if in your routine, the work needs to feel like that's the reward. So when you do that, you will not even think about the result. That's going to happen by itself. And the work will also not feel so burdened for you. So that's how you approach productivity.
And most of the time, we just start comparing us, because maybe when we started a startup, maybe we have other set of people who do. But when we see, we watch a lot of YouTube videos to just keep pushing ourselves to that level. That's how we push. While doing that, sometimes even maybe it's one part of the time we feel it motivated, but at the same time in other end we feel, oh, they have reached but we are not able to reach, but still we are putting on the same efforts, and but maybe we go low by comparing ourselves with others. So when somebody says that I compare too much with others and make myself low, how do you see that, and how can we don't get depressed by comparing ourselves by seeing other success?
So there are a few aspects to comparisons. Okay, one is that when you're young, you tend to compare a lot. So as you get older, you like actually stop it. So I can, again, when I was in your age in college, I used to compare myself with a lot of people as well. Now I don't, because one thing is that when you compare, right, you're only comparing the result. You compare the outside result. Like someone your age, Zepto owner is your age, I don't know. Someone could be like, all the startup founders are like really young right now. So when you see someone your age and you compare, you only compare the result with them. So they have so much money, they have done this in this age, I have not done it. So you're only comparing the result. If you compare, if you could compare the kind of efforts that they've put in, a lot of people can't even stand there, or like they can't even comprehend putting that much of effort. That person could not even be sleeping, they would be doing all of those works and stuff like that. So if you, this is what I would say, compare the process, see what they've done every single day, and imagine if you can stand in their shoes. If that's not, then that's like very invalid comparison, one. And another thing is for people who are actually putting in the work and they want to be there, but that's not happening. A lot of people come from very different background, and everyone will have a different level of privilege. So you might be starting from scratch, right? But they might already have had, some help given to them. And when I say help, I don't even mean in terms of monetary help or resources. It could be the mindset also. People who come from a business family, they know how business runs. So for them, it's very easy to put a business, and like they just know, like they know how to deal with the finances, they know what to do when something is not happening. But I don't come from a business family, you don't come from a business family, we don't know how business runs. So then we'll have to figure it out. So we spend extra time figuring it out. So it's going to take us some time, right? But what I would say is, look at the experience you gain from it instead of comparing the output with the other person. So that person's experience, life experience, and your life experience will be completely different. And that's what makes you special. They might not have a story to tell. You would have a story to tell. And you will have a very huge, interesting story to tell. So, and spiritually speaking, like this is on a very like practical level. Spiritually speaking, the experience that you have in this life, the experiences that you're gonna like come across, it's needed for your soul to evolve. So in order for you to evolve into a certain person, you need to go through that problem. So for you, maybe it could be the struggle of starting your startup. Maybe for someone else, maybe you guys are looking to get some investors and you have to go through this insane process of getting investors, right? You need to go through that process, because that process is going to turn you into a person. And that person, that future self needs this lesson today. And similarly for someone else, that could be different. Someone who has money and investors, that their fathers could invest, their mothers could invest. For them, there is no this kind of experience.
I think I totally agree, because I personally, when I see and when I compare myself, sometimes I feel so low that I feel like giving up. But the team pushes me, okay, we are doing something. I think this was very helpful because I see the result and compare. Well, I never thought of the hard work they put on. Maybe their hard work was that I cannot cope up, or maybe I'm doing a different way, because every people are different, right? So I think this is much needed advice for myself personally. So you are helping more than 20 children to get education, right? So how does that impact? That I admire the most, and it's very grateful for you that you're helping, because education is a powerful tool. How does that impact in your life?
So I started this whole social work thing. I used to do it myself first in the beginning, because my mom used to tell me, again this comes from my mom only, all credits to my mom, literally all the credits to my mom, because I've seen my mom doing this. Growing up, we were struggling for money, like we wouldn't have money. My mom was the only working member of the family, and she had to take care of me, my brother, my grandmother, my grandfather, everyone. So there were 5 members in the family, and my mom was the only one working. So we usually, like, we didn't have money, we won't go out, we won't eat out. But even in that difficult situation, I've seen my mom help people when they come, like even if someone's coming for money, someone is like asking for money, my mom very generously, she'll help, like 100 rupees, 200 rupees. It's a huge thing for her, but she'll just give it out. And she'll be like, they don't even have what we have, so let them just have this money. And I've seen my mom being so helpful in her life. And since my childhood, she has also told me that once you start earning, you have to take a little bit of money and give it to someone as a charity. So that is something that she's told me since my childhood. So ever since I started earning after college, every month I would take a little bit of money and I would give it to someone. Like, I'll just help them. This was something I was doing it personally. And later, what I was doing is, I used to do this workshops for my followers, and whatever they pay for the workshop, I'll just take a part of it. I'll give it to people, and then I'll post about it. Like, I'll tell my followers that whatever you spent on this, I've given it to these and these people. I've done this. And at one point, there was this random requirement from one of the orphanages I visited personally. So I visited them, I gave them some money, and I came back. They called and said they needed more money because they're struggling for food and all of that. So I thought, okay, why not ask my followers? So I just put up a story saying they need money, so can someone help? I collected around like 15,000 that time, and that was really huge, right? So I sent that money to them, and I was like, this is nice. People are ready to give. So maybe why don't we do it like once a month or once in 2 months? So that's when I started doing this, and all the people that are with me, like my followers, they're all very generous people. Again, all credits to my followers as well, because they are the ones that donate every single month. So they're also very like, involved in this. People were like, the first, I think I just went by myself to orphanages, and then I gave the money to them and the stuff to them, and then people were like, I would also like to join. So I started organizing these visits. So anytime I would go and donate the stuff, I'd also ask my followers, like, who wants to join can join. People started coming in, 10-15 members every visit, and some members are like very regular. They come to every visit. They come, they have time with the kids, and we have also grown very fond with the kids as well in the orphanage. The kids also, like, they're very comfortable with us, so we have donated for their studies, food and everything. So personally, when I look at it, I don't even know like how I ended up here. It was like it just happened. Like, this happened, and finally it's here. But great set of followers, great kids at orphanage, great opportunities coming up. So I'm a person who's usually like, any opportunity you give me, I'll just grab it. I will not let it go, because I feel like if something comes to you, it comes to you for a reason. So I usually don't, like, for me, it's like, if I don't grab the opportunity, I'm literally disrespecting universe's sign. So I am like, any opportunity you give me, I'll just grab it and see what's there. So that's how I started doing this, and it has become something like quite significant right now. And I'm really grateful for my mom, my followers, the orphanage, the people that are there, kids, the sisters, they're very cooperative with us. So all of them. So it's also shaped me into a slightly different person.
I think that is the purpose of life you are living, right? So if suppose I come to you and ask that I want to define my purpose of life because I don't know what the spiritual or the purpose that I'm living. So how will you guide someone who asks help, who wants to define their purpose in life?
Previously, I used to have a different idea of purpose. Like, I thought you just need to have like one purpose that you need to like fully focus on and stuff. But now that I've spiritually a little bit evolved, I don't believe in that, because I also read a lot about like spirituality and stuff. Your purpose is usually something that doesn't involve any of the system that we have created. Like, for example, if your purpose is to make more money, that's not a purpose, okay? Because that is coming from the system we have built. So we have built a system, we live in a certain way, and in the system, we are trying to make a lot of money. So that doesn't come under purpose. But if, let's say, you're doing something like, what I'm doing right now, like I coach people, and that is something that I really, really like doing. It just satisfies my soul so much when I talk to someone. So it's something that, let's say, if we dismantle the system and there's no money coming in, we don't work for money anymore, we don't do any of that, we don't need money for survival at all. So if we completely dismantle the system, I would still be doing it. I'd still be doing it even if money is not coming in, because that's what satisfies my soul. Anytime I talk to someone, anytime I help them understand themselves and help with their situation, I feel so good and I feel so satisfied. So I would say your purpose is usually not a work or a title or the money or the goal. The purpose is usually a feeling. Okay, so you should always look for the feeling behind anything that you do. So when you do something, if it satisfies you so much and if it gives you this sense of fulfilled feeling, then you have to go in that direction. So if you go in that direction, right, that direction might take you in a lot of different places. Today you're doing podcast, tomorrow you might be doing a VJ, after that you might be sitting on a panel. We don't know. This feeling might take you anywhere. But just follow that feeling. That will lead you into different parts of your life, but there's not like one single purpose. The purpose is usually the feeling. And if you go behind that feeling, wherever the feeling takes you, you go there.
So that is how the purpose.
Yeah, that's how you look for purpose. You look for more of a feeling, not like a outside thing. Look at what inside happens when you do something. So that's how you find your purpose.
I think you would have worked with various people by coaching others. When some entrepreneurs or business people come to you, how do you help them being mentally clear? Because the level of pressure or the thing they go through is really hard, because that never give up is not that easy as it sounds, because at every stage, though they are not able to find anything, they have to work, because it is only when you do that you will be able to see the process. But the process is really hard and they'll have a lot of pressure they are handling in their shoulders. So how do you help them maintain that mental resilience when you are mainly handling the business people or entrepreneurs?
So when it comes to entrepreneurs, I think the life is very different compared to others, right? So there's a lot of pressure, and more than work pressure, I would say the pressure of dealing with people is huge, right? Because if you're an entrepreneur and you have 30-40 employees, that's a completely different scenario. And it is really like taking care of 30-40 members. Like, you are the only person responsible for all of these people. So one thing that I've commonly seen with people that I've personally worked with is that they need more understanding in terms of how to make people do the work. Okay, that is one. Because they are like, I'm telling them to do this, but they're not doing it, or they're not doing it in the way that I want it. If I do it, I'll do it better, but they're doing it this way. So this is one problem that they have. And then, employees could be having problems within themselves. There's no coordination. So now that comes as a pressure to them. So that is also something. And the individual's own emotions and pressure and stress, that could also come out. So one thing that a few things that I've thought for people in common in my experience is, one, how to make people take responsibility for their work, right? So it's more like it's just an approach. The approach that you take just have to be different. That's it. So instead of telling someone like, this is not good, do it again, you just have to give them a little bit of a better constructive feedback, and you have to build a sense of responsibility in them. So it's not about the work itself, it's a sense of responsibility. You have to make them feel that they are responsible for this, and whatever they get out of it is for them, for themselves. So that is one. So it's basically like communication, the way we communicate, the way you communicate, that is one. And another thing that I've also taught them is how to regulate their own emotions, because their own anger could be coming and disturbing the work. Their own sadness and problems that they have in their life, that could also be coming. So emotional regulation is also a huge thing that plays a part. You need to know how to act during emotional situations, pressured, stressful situations. You have to be really calm, right? You can't just take an impulsive decision when it comes to business and work. So that is another thing. Emotional regulation, I would say, is the most important thing that I teach them. And I think that's the most important thing.
So do you think it's important to maintain their mental well-being in all the situations, particularly whether they are focused or not focused, to maintain the calmness? So do you think that is important for them?
Yeah, it is important for them. I see entrepreneurship as one of the hardest spiritual tests, actually. So when I see it, everything is like spiritual. Okay, so when you see it from a spiritual perspective, Being an entrepreneur is the ultimate test. You have so many employees to take care of. You have every problem comes to you, so you have to be the anchor. You have to be very calm, composed. You can't be just taking impulsive decisions because of your emotions. So you have to be regulated, you have to be calm, you need to know how to communicate, you need to know how to deal with other people's emotions, because your employees are also going to come to you when they're upset. They're like, I'm not satisfied with this salary, I'm not satisfied with this work, this is not happening, she's not listening to me, this team member is not listening to me. So you need to know how to regulate yourself. You need to know how to help someone else when they come to you with their own emotions and problems. And you are also creating something for this world, so that also needs to go in the best way possible. So again, entrepreneurship is like the ultimate test for spiritually speaking. And they have to be really, really calm and resilient.
In this case, if you want to give some 3 tips that if you would recommend to maintain their mental clarity or mental resilience, what would it be?
First thing is, don't talk when you are filled with emotions, especially anger or frustration or stress. Do not speak, especially if you're very reactive, emotionally reactive. Don't talk in that moment. Take a pause, take some time, calm yourself down, think practically, logically, and then go deal with that problem. That's one. And the second thing is, it is important for you as an entrepreneur or a founder to take care of your employees' well-beings as well. So when they come to you with their own problems, your solution or whatever you offer has to be practical plus empathetic. So that empathy needs to be there. And the third thing is, when it comes to being resilient, right? Again, same thing. You have to be open to new experiences, open to people's perspective. The more closed you are, the difficult it gets for you to run something. So you just have to be open, taking people's opinions, taking people's suggestions. If someone wants to try something new, like, you give them the freedom to do that. So you have to be a bit more open in terms of mentally as well for you to run the whole thing.
So any failure that you faced that helped you to identify this purpose?
I wouldn't say failure, but when I was in it happened when I was in college, actually. So I was in my college final year, and it was a kind of a tough time for me, because I was having a lot of, suddenly, like I say again, spiritually speaking, when the universe wants you to do something, the first thing it dismantles all the relationships around you.
I think that's so true because I'm in the final year and that's how we started.
Yeah, exactly. So anytime you find yourself in a situation where everything around you is crumbling and you're like, what's happening? Where is my life? So that means it's a spiritual awakening.
That everybody goes away. We feel like we have nobody.
Like we have nobody, exactly. So you feel suddenly you're alone, right? So that's what happened to me when I was in my college final year. And suddenly, like, there's so many problems with my friends, and I had a lot of friends. Suddenly there's no one. All my are gone.
I think I'm able to relate with you so much in within most of things.
Yeah, it happens, see, it's a pattern. That's how universe maybe works. So everyone is gone, and I was just like, I was most of the time I was crying, why is this happening to me? What's happening? Everyone is leaving me. And it was a really difficult time of my life. That's when I was, in order to cope myself, right, how do I stay unbothered by people? How do I not
So many books.
Yeah, so I was actually looking at YouTube for videos. So I was watching a few videos, and then there was a book review video. So I watched the book review video. That book review video was nice. So I was like, the book review video is nice, let's buy the book. And that's how I started my book reading habit itself. So I started buying books, I started reading books, and in the books, the first few books I read, they were like, do these few things in order to take care of yourself. And one of the things was to work out, take care of my body. And another thing was to follow your purpose. Another thing was to explore new things. And there were 10 more things like this. So I was like, okay, why don't we try? And then I started working out. I started waking up in the morning, going for walks. Same thing, yes. So I literally felt my life getting better. And that's how I got into books, which led me to making videos, and which led me to read about psychology, spirituality, which led me towards coaching, and I am where I am right now. So that's, I wouldn't say necessarily a failure, but a very difficult situation.
I think everybody will go through that phase in order to become a very better person they were. I think that breakdown is much needed for the uplift in their lives.
And again, that's what you ask for, right? We ask for us to be better. I want to be successful. So then the universe is like, you're not in a successful place right now. So I'm going to remove everything and then I'm going to rebuild it. So when when it's removing, we have to be, even though it's difficult, we have to be hopeful.
I think the difficult part that moment is we don't know why that is happening. At that moment, we are not mature enough to realize, okay, this is why, this is the breakdown for that uplift. I think after we go through and reach that, only then we realize, okay, that is why this breakdown happened. That phase, I cannot even imagine, because I was so joyful people. I used to talk to everybody, I used to talk a lot. But after that point, I just stopped myself from everything. I felt so lonely that I couldn't handle at that time. As usual, even I used to cry, as you said. But now I feel, okay, I'm doing something better. That satisfies, okay, this is something which needed to happen. It has happened. So I'm happy for what I am here today now as well.
Yeah, true. So when you ask to be successful and you have like very mediocre minded people around you, then the God is going to remove everyone from your life, and he's going to give you new people. So when he's removing and there's this transition phase, it's going to be difficult for us. We don't know why this is happening, but we just have to be hopeful. We just have to trust that, okay, whatever is happening for the good. It makes the process easier.
So what do you think about overthinking? Mainly at nights. I think that's when all the thoughts come. And how do you handle, or anybody who asks, who you want to advise them? Because I think that is also a major part which impacts our mental well-being the next day. So how do you think that?
Overthinking, I would say, is a normal thing that happens for a lot of people. Some people chronically overthink, right? But I'll give you two perspectives here. I'll give you like a how to deal with it perspective. I'll also give you like a spiritual perspective on it, okay? When it comes to overthinking, see, overthinking is a natural thing, you know. As soon as your mind senses a threat, it starts overthinking. That is one. Another thing is, when you have nothing to do, right? When you're just sitting idle, your mind is not idle. Your mind will always be thinking about something. So if there is something about, your mind will keep juggling between the past and the future. So it's going to think about something from the past, something from the future. Especially if something is unresolved in the past, then it's going to go back to that. Because resolved means it's closed, it's done. So if something is still open, it's going to go back to that. But so that is one reason you overthink, right? So no matter why you overthink, you just have to realize in that moment that if you're overthinking, as soon as you realize that you're overthinking, get up and do something, okay? Especially like if you're not getting sleep, right? Get up and read a book. Don't just see idle. There's a quote, right? Idle mind is the workshop of the devil. It is true. You should not let your mind be idle like that. The only time you have to, there's a difference between being idle and being still. So being still is meditation, where you literally have no thoughts. Like you will be focusing on something else, like you are focusing on your breath or something. But on the opposite hand, you're just being idle. Your body is idle, you're not doing anything. So your mind is fully like doing all the devil's work. The moment you realize you're overthinking, move your body first. Okay, if you move your body, it's difficult for your mind to overthink. Okay, so as soon as you move your body, your mind will come back to the moment, and then start doing something. Even if it's a very menial work like cleaning or just showering, going out, taking a walk, anything. So first move your body and bring yourself back to the moment right now. And then when it comes to overthinking, your thoughts are not necessarily true. Okay, and your thoughts are okay. Getting any thought is okay. The problem is when you start believing it, when you start judging it. Okay, for example, you might have a thought every day that says you are not doing anything useful. Okay, let's say that is the thought. That's just a thought. Sometimes we even have thoughts like when we go and stand on top of the cliff and we see down, they're like, jump panidu, right? Or if someone is there, like, thalli vitru, go push them, right? But we don't act on those thoughts because we know that the consequences are huge, right? So there's no difference between that thought and this thought that says you're not doing anything useful. There's no difference between these two. The only difference is how you react to it. For that thought, you will not react. You will not push someone else down. But for this thought, you're like immediately believing it. Oh, maybe I'm not doing anything useful. You start judging that thought. Okay, is this true? Is this not true? Should I do something about it? And then the problem starts when you start believing that thought and start acting on it. So just because you had the thought, you're like, okay, tomorrow I'm not going to do anything. What's the point? That is the problem. So it only becomes a problem when you turn that destructive thoughts into an action. So you just have to ensure what are your goals, what are your values. Do that. Take actions according to that, not according to what the momentary thoughts are. Because today your thought will say you're not doing anything good. Tomorrow it will say you're doing something good. So that is very fluctuating. So you should not base your actions on those thoughts. You should always base your actions on your deep down character and value. And you're like, this is what I want to do, so this is where I want to go. So that is one. So this is on one side, on how you can practically deal with your overthinking. Spiritually speaking, people who overthink, right, it's actually a gift. Okay, because you have a very vivid sense of imagination. You can actually use that imagination to visualize, to consider constructive scenarios. If your mind can come up with so much negative scenarios, it can also come up with positive scenarios. So it's actually a gift for people, especially like for everyone. It's a gift. So you can use that imagination or that going back to the past. Even if you're going back to the past, use it to do better reflections. If you're going to the future, you use it to imagine a better future. It's actually a gift, especially for creative people. If you see, creative people usually are very like intense thinkers, right? They think a lot, they imagine a lot. It's actually a gift. So be it overthinking or any other trait that we have, we can also use it constructively if we look at it this way.
So how do you think yoga, meditation or workout have the impact on their thinking as well as their productivity?
Moving your body, yoga is like a separate thing, I'll come to that. Moving your body itself, right, like let's say you're working out, so that has a huge impact on your short-term happiness and your long-term happiness as well. So if you move your body every single day, as soon as you finish your workout, you're going to be like fully high, you're going to be like improved mood and all of that, and it stays with you throughout the day. And regularly working out will make you more happier and keeps your mood high on a normal level. So when that happens, naturally your productivity increases, your good mood, the way you deal with people, everything increases. That is one. So that being said, when I come to specifically yoga, breathwork and meditation, yoga is not a workout. So yoga is not a movement practice that you need to do. Okay, yoga is a completely different thing. Authentic yoga that we have, it is more of aligning energies in your body, becoming one with your soul, and it is also about if you've read a little bit about yoga, there's a lot of talking about chakras and energy and all of that, right? So the act of yoga itself is aligning your body, aligning the energies in your body to align your soul with the higher soul. So that is the purpose of yoga. And usually yoga needs to be done in a way that first you do the asanas, then you do the breath work, and then you do the meditation. So you asanas prepare your body, it energetically aligns your body, and then you do breath work, it aligns your breath, and both of them will put you in a good state to meditate. And then when you meditate, that's when you connect with the higher power. So you can call it higher power, source, God, cosmic consciousness, anything that you want. So that's how you go. And when you go to meditation, again, meditation is like you get signs from the higher power, you get insights, you get visions. So I'm teaching meditation to my people, like my clients, right? So they are all like surprised with the experience that they have when they're doing meditation and breath work. They're like, why am I crying all of a sudden? Why is this happening? I can hear my heartbeat. I can see colors. I can, I set an intention, and by the time I'm done with my meditation, I got an answer for that intention. I got insights, I got ideas, my mind has opened up, my body has opened up, so many things. So, when it comes to this specifically yoga, breathwork, and meditation, I would say it helps you mentally, it helps you physically, it helps you spiritually, it also helps you with evolving spiritually as a person.
So finally, ma'am, if someone in a village, in a corner, any small child or anybody watching us, the podcast, everything, what advice you can tell them in order from them, because it's really hard from them to get the opportunities. So what can you tell them? Okay, if they're watching, okay, you do this, you will be able to. We have people out here, they can really achieve great things. They are not meant to stay just there, because initially coming out is hard. Once they're out, they'll have a lot of opportunity, but mainly in villages, for coming out from that spot is really hard. So what can you tell them?
I would just say from my experience, get your education first. That's really important. You need to be educated. You need to have your degree. Don't listen to people who say the degree is not important, that's not important, this is not important. Degree is important. Get your degree. And second is get a job in the beginning. If you especially come from a family of like a middle class family, you need to be responsible and feed your family. Get a job, and whatever time that you have left, use that time to work on your goals. Okay, and move out to the city. Don't stay in the village, I would say, because see, you can settle down in the village later, but come out to the city, see what's happening, travel as much as possible. Even if it's like a small travel to another place, just do that. And finally, for all the people who come from the village, they have this a little bit of bitterness inside them that, okay, this person has more opportunities because they are already in the city, they're already like 10 steps ahead of me. So both of us, let's say both of us are doing something, they just have to do a little bit to get there, but I have to do so much to get there. If that's there in your head, do that, it's fine, right? That's, if they have to just take one step and you have to run, it's not going to make you any lesser, right? Maybe they reach the goal a year before you, maybe you reach 1 year later, it's fine. Our goal is to reach the goal. It's not about who reaches first. For me, I want to reach my goal. So don't have that bitterness or comparison, just go for it. The goal is for you to reach it. Doesn't matter how many other people reach it. So that's
Yeah, it was very pleasure talking to you. I think everybody who's watching this will be able to find their purpose in life, and I think they'll start doing yoga, because I feel like doing after listening to you. As I always say, stay curious, stay focused, and keep evolving. Until next time, this is Aditi Shri signing off.